Hello everyone, and welcome to Empowering the Conscious Business Evolution Talk with me, Antonina, for some fresh, thought-provoking and liberating conversations about inspiring the sparks of innovation and evolution, and growing a bigger and a wider world of ethically successful and consciously evolving business environment. For those who tune in for the first time, I'm the founder of Visions Nspire Strategic Business Growth Consultancy. As a business strategist, my focus is on turning visions into profitable businesses, be it for startups or established businesses. So in my area of work, evolving the business consciousness is a key element. You can find out more about my inspiring work by visiting the website www.visionsnspire.com. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel or like my Facebook page or connect on LinkedIn with me. Business owners work with me, looking to increase usually their business cash flow and profits and create a secure financial future so they fully enjoy a greater lifestyle and balance. However, along the way, the main obstacle appears to be the uncomfortable mindset of conformity, which accepts limitations in business making and development, or even growing in order to fit in an old custom conventional framework of business making that holds them back, and all that at the expense of their true identity. But how we even start to break up these frames? Well, we'll have to try. In my interviews, video or audio, I will be introducing you to exceptional business leaders, owners, and creators who have reached great success in what they do, not because they worked hard to fit in, but by challenging the status quo and constantly innovating themselves and their businesses, by searching back to their authentic roots to follow the person-business environment connection, and by taking approaches of consciously evolving to align with a higher social and earth value through their creativity, identity, and co-creative forward thinking. So be prepared, all my guests have left valuable tips and inspirational words of wisdom for you to take and do your best to outshine the conventional and grow yourself and business aligned with higher values. All their interviews are playing on the Visions Nspire YouTube podcast channel. Happy listening and happy learning and growing. Hello everyone, and welcome to Visions Nspire Empowering the Conscious Business Evolution show today with Melanie Perry. Hello Melanie.
Hello, it's lovely to be here.
Lovely to have you here. Melanie, I read a lot about you. I read your posts on LinkedIn, which I find fascinating, and I watched some of your videos on Vimeo. You will send me the link so that we can show everyone what you are creating and what you have created so far. But rather than me telling people about you, how about you telling us, and starting with, how did you go from just Mel, the girl, to Melanie Perry at Poppy Perry Media?
Okay, I've always been a Melanie, never ever a Mel.
Mel, okay.
But my family name is Poppy. It's a family nickname that I've had since I was very, very small. And it stems from when I was a very, very young baby, and my father used to come home from work and my mother used to greet him on the doorstep with me in her arms, tiny little squinty baby. And my father used to always say when he came in, "Watch your Popeye," which wasn't very flattering, because babies are all the same, aren't they? They sort of squint when they can't really focus on anything. And over time, Popeye morphed into Poppy, thankfully. So I am Popsy, Poppy, Pops at home. And when I was doing my branding, I'm a visual storyteller. So I love to bring stories to life through the power of video and storytelling through video. And when I was looking at my branding, I wanted something very, very bright and vibrant and fun that reflected me. And Poppy, I love poppies. They just sum that up to me. They're very, very cheerful. They're very bright. So that's what I wanted. So I thought it was, rather than call myself Melanie Perry, which is a bit boring, Poppy Perry Media just flowed a whole lot better.
Yes, I agree. I love it. It's very memorable. And it just pops out. Yeah.
I wish I had £1 though for everybody that calls me Poppy when I sign off my emails. And when I first meet people, oh, hello, Poppy. No, it's Melanie, actually. My business name is Poppy, but it's nice. I don't mind either way.
That's beautiful. So, Melanie, how did Melanie transform into the multi-award winning filmmaker?
Well, it's an interesting story. I mean, when I started out, when I left school, my father died when I was 16, very, very suddenly. He went to the office and basically didn't come back. It was devastating. It was a big, big shock all around. And when I left school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do at all. I had a handful of qualifications because my school weren't very sympathetic to the fact that my father had died, despite giving a big long talk about if anything happens, you're not to worry about your exams, you can always sit and retake your exams, don't stress about anything. So when my father died and I wanted to skip the exams and take them with the resits a little bit later, I was not allowed to do that, and I had to sit my maths exam the morning after my father's funeral.
Oh my God.
So I left school with not a lot of love for the education system, I have to admit. My mother was in a bad state for a long time, and my father had been married before. We had some issues with his family, which again made the situation extremely, extremely stressful. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. So my mother said to me, go to secretarial college, you'll learn how to type, whatever happens, you'll always have a job, because you can temp, whatever. So I thought, okay, not knowing what else to do. So I kind of went down that route, and I embarked on a career as a secretary, then personal assistant, then executive assistant, and worked my way up through the ranks. But it was never really the job for me. My mum was a secretary. She absolutely loved it, but she was a secretary in another era where I think things were a lot more fun. Whereas now, I just knew deep in my heart that I didn't want to do it. I mean, I liked looking after my bosses, and I was lucky I had some very, very good ones. But I also had some very, very dreadful ones too, enough to teach me that I really didn't want to stay in that particular environment. So throughout my corporate career, I'd always dabbled with being an entrepreneur. And for a while, I had my own beauty business, and I did nails and makeup, or weddings for makeup, and that was pretty successful. And I found out that I was really good at selling things. And I came out of the corporate life for a little bit, and I had my own beauty business. And then I got hit with a huge tax bill because I'd sold so much product. And it was just really disheartening. I thought, I've worked really hard. It's kind of backbreaking. I was at the point where, do I really want to open my own salon and do that, or do I want to do something different? And again, by that point, I'd felt like I'd got to the end of that particular road, that it wasn't giving me the joy that it did. So I thought, after all of this and after paying my tax, I just thought, I don't want to work this hard for that. So I went back into corporate for a little while, thinking I'd just let them take care of the tax, let them take care of the national insurance. I just want to do a job and not have to think too much about it. So I did that for quite a while. And at the end of my corporate career, my last proper job before I struck out on my own was with the Walt Disney Company. And they were a great company to work for. But when I left, They were just going through a really, really big management restructure, and I had just found out that I was pregnant. So it seemed like a very good time, especially as I'd been there quite a while, to just have a natural parting of the ways, because I knew that I didn't want to commute into London when my son was born. For the longest time, I had my son quite late in life, not as early as I would have liked. Certainly, I was 38 when he was born. And I was determined that, I'd wanted for the longest time to be a mum. I really did want to be a mum. And so I thought, right, I'm going to take some time out. Excuse me. I'm going to take some time out and raise my son and think about what it is I want to do. So that's what I did. And when he was a baby, I thoroughly enjoyed being with him. But then I also realised that there was more to me than being a mum. It wasn't the deep, deep joy that I thought it was going to be. No. That sounds awful. I don't mean it in that way. My son is my life, my passion. But I think as women, we tend to feel quite guilty a lot of the time.
Yes.
Because we're almost like, we feel like we're expected to give all to our children. And if we feel that there's something missing, we feel that there's something wrong with us.
Yes, the curse of the mother's guilt.
Yeah, the mother's guilt, but we're human beings, and you can be a great mum, but you can still want more from life. And that's what I realised, is that yes, I love my son, but there was more to me than just being a mum, and I had to utilise my brain and my skills and do something more with my life. So I dabbled with network marketing for a little bit, which I still do in the background. I joined a network marketing company because like most people, I really enjoyed their products. I still really do enjoy their products. But I wasn't into that particular type of salesy environment. I found it very hard going out and trying to convince friends and family, buy this, buy this, buy this. And
the pyramid of, building up. And
people have got that misconception that it's a pyramid scheme, and trying to explain to them what a pyramid scheme is and isn't. I just lost the will to live with it by the end of the day, and I just thought, I can't do this. So if people want to find out about the products, they're more than happy to ask me, but other than that, I'll just bubble along using them myself. And I got into video. I mean, coming from Virgin, the Walt Disney Company, I've always been very, very creative and very, very aware of the power of brand. I feel very, very passionate about representing yourself in the right way, and the look and the feel of business is very, very important. And I kind of fell into my video business by accident. I created some videos for a friend that was just starting her business, and asked me to help. And I said, we'll create some videos for you that are a little bit different. We created a series showing her salon. She was opening up a sugaring salon. So I said, okay, we'll break it up into sections. So we'll have a little bit showing off your space and your salon space, so that everyone can see what they're going to get when they walk through the door and the feel of it. We will do a little bit about the sugar paste, what it actually is, because some people might not know that. I mean, a lot of people know waxing, but a much kinder, more natural alternative to waxing is sugaring. So we did a little bit about that. That was really nice. And then we did the treatment. So we showed a client what actually happened.
Really? When you
come
in,
screams. It's not bad actually. It's a lot less painful than waxing.
Yes, I am aware, because
I was surprised. The worst part of it for me is when it actually goes on, because the hair comes out a different way. You feel more of a sensation when the wax is being put on rather than when it's coming off.
Yes,
very, very weird to say. So we need to just show that, and then we had the client doing a lovely testimonial. So there was kind of like a series of 4. So that launched her business, and people just went mad for it. In a networking group that I was in, they were, I want one. And so before I knew it, my networking multi-level marketing days were kind of shelved completely, and the video media business took off. And in between all this happening, I met a lady again at another networking event. So networking is really, really key, people, because you never know who you're going to meet, and you never know what doors it's going to open.
Well, this is how you and I met. This is how you and I met.
I'm not sure whether it's still going or it's not going as strongly, but it was Thames Valley Women in Business. And I met a lady called Pippa Sawyer, who was just launching a new radio station in the area, and was looking for volunteers to help and launch. And so I got talking to her afterwards, and I said, well, I'll come and have a chat with you and see if I can maybe volunteer to do something. I don't really know what, but I don't really know anything about radio broadcasting.
Yeah.
I'd love to know more about it. So off I went and had a chat with her one day at the station. And the upshot was that I came away with my own show. I joined the sports team and had my own Tuesday night sports show, which won a gold award for best sports show a couple of years back. So I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. I still do a little bit for the radio show, but not having my own show anymore because I just don't have the time for it. But the 2.5, 3 years that I was on the show, I learned a huge amount about sound editing and audio production, which was, that's a big part of video editing, but I'd learned it in much greater depth. So I'll always be very, very thankful for that. So now the things that I produce are a lot better, and I can advise clients a lot better on the importance of sound. Something that I get quite a lot is when I talk to clients about creating pieces for their business and using music. Oh no, I don't use music. I always listen to everything with the music off. And I said, well, if you're trying to sell something, you need music, because people buy with emotion. True. And the proof of that is all around you. When you go into the cinema and you see the adverts before the film comes on, they have music. Yes. And it's loud and it draws you in. When you see your adverts, commercials on the television, without a doubt, they will all have music.
Yes.
Because it draws on your emotion. And not everybody, and I said to a lady a couple of days ago, just because you don't listen with sound on doesn't mean that everybody listens with sound off. And it depends on where you're going to put it. People now are working a lot more from home, so they're probably looking at things that they may have had turned off sound-wise in the office. They're probably not having the sound off because they're at home and nobody's going to hear them if they've got the music on or working in different ways that they want to work. But if you're advertising and you're putting something on your website, or you're doing a particular commercial piece, then yes, you need to think about music and vocals, and not just what you're saying and your delivery of what you're saying, but how the whole piece is going to fit together.
Yeah.
It's it's very powerful. People, we all think, I've studied sort of the science of buying and selling and marketing, and neuroscience is just fascinating to me.
It is.
I've read so many books on the subject, and I think I always joke that in another life, if I'd maybe been a bit cleverer, I would have been a brain surgeon, because I just find the human brain amazingly fascinating. But we all make decisions when we meet somebody, when we're talking to somebody, we're judging with emotion first. Without a question. When you're looking at an advert, when you're looking at anything, human beings react with emotion first. Exactly. That's the first part of our brain. Anything will hit, and then our rational brain kicks in and takes over. And all this happens in milliseconds. But it's emotion first. So if you can draw the people in on their emotions, that's your basic human default setting, if you like. So it's very, very powerful. Mustn't ever be underestimated.
Well, that's the power of attracting clients that I teach my the people I work with, and this is part of the educational process for them, because they need to connect, they need to understand that it is not about price, it is about emotion, it is about connection, and then only, as you said, the conscious mind kicks in to reason your desire, and make arguments to do it or not to do it, not to do it. The different aspects of it. So why do you do what you do? What you get out of it and get to others by doing what you do?
What I personally get out of it, I have always loved watching TV. Okay. I don't so much watch a huge amount of it now, again, because it's a time issue, but I've always loved watching television from a little girl. You know, I still love watching cartoons, and I still love watching good films, and I love watching good adverts. I will sit there and I will look at the adverts, and I love to see a really, really good advert, and I love to see the really bad ones, because I can sit there and say, oh my God, if I did that, I did it so much better than that.
Yeah.
Naughty that I am. But for me, it's a creative passion. It's a creative joy to go from having a concept to creating something really, really beautiful that people sit back and go, oh my God, that's amazing. And what people get out of that, there's a lot of people who think that they don't have time, that they're not creative, that they know they need to create something for their business, but they're not really sure. And when we start going through the process, start unlocking ideas and start talking about the possibilities, because, you know, it all starts with a brainstorm. You know, what would you love your clients to say about your business? If you could put this in a movie, what would people see? You know, that kind of thing. And once it's all down on paper and you kind of scope out what it is, and you're going through this journey, the clients get an education, because they suddenly get to realize what's involved in making a video production. It's not, the reason it's not cheap is because it's not easy, and it's a lengthy process if you're going to get it right.
Yeah,
it's a lengthy process, and you know, time isn't on the side of the small business owner, particularly because a lot of small business owners, they are in their business, they're trying to provide a service to somebody, or they're actually doing the business. So it's hard enough when they have to stop and do their accounts and take however many days out to sort through all of the admin stuff, because when you're small, it takes a while before you can afford those things, to outsource to an accountant, to outsource to a social media manager, to outsource to somebody else.
Yes.
So going through the process of what's involved can be quite a big learning curve, but seeing the end result, if they will put a little bit of time in, give it to somebody like me to create, you know, yes, it's going to cost, but it reaps dividends, because the engagement and the impact that it has is so much more.
I totally agree. Give it to the professionals and to the expert, rather than wasting time and ending up with a average quality of a product. I have a different enjoyment watching the adverts, and I kind of taught my husband, even when we watch a film, the game is spot the odd thing, because that's the way my brain works. The critical thinking, and you always spot one element which is out of place. It shouldn't be there. It is out of the time frame they're presenting, or something odd.
My husband and I do that as well. Continuity, continuity. She had a mole on the left of her face, and now it's on her right.
Exactly.
You know, she should be wearing a purple jumper, not a red one. I mean, some of the things are glaringly obvious, and some things are harder to spot. But having made my first film, and it was only a short film, to be fair, going through the process again and again and again and again, I can understand how, when you're making a motion picture, and there's so many people involved anyway, much more than was on my sort of production, but I can understand how some things might get missed, because sometimes when you're going over and over and over and over and over and over and over the footage, you kind of go blind to it.
Yes, that's why you need an external person to sit and do it. And
I want a sense check. Yeah, absolutely.
So you and I can go into business and go to those films and actually sit down and do the consultancy on that basis.
So we'll watch it. Before you release it, we'll write down all the things.
Edit it. Independent editors. That's lovely.
Yeah.
So I know your industry is a very saturated industry, and the competition is huge. So would you say that you have managed to find your voice in that industry, your own voice? And I did I'm asking this because I saw a post on LinkedIn about you still looking for your tribe. So yeah, that's very honest. So would you say that you have found your unique voice within that industry?
I with everybody in this industry, you know, we all work different ways, and it's a bit like within the Athena network that we're both members of. You know, there are lots of nutritionalists, you know, there are lots of personal assistants, but we each have our own voice and we each create a different way. So I'm very high energy, and if someone's going to work with me, they have to not mind high energy. If you're somebody who really can't deal with that, then I'm not the person for you. I like to move things along fairly swiftly, because again, in this industry, you're used to having to deal with things quickly. So I don't do well with people that kind of procrastinate, which is why I've got a very strict set of terms and conditions of timelines and when things will happen and when they will stop happening. Some people respond really well to that, some people don't. So if you don't, and you know, and I'm not your style, and that's great. And I think that's why I'm a big fan of collaboration, not competition. You know, there are a lot of people out there doing what I do. Yes, you might like me, you might like somebody else. And I think when you are going to somebody like me who's going to create a piece for your business, what I tend to do is I immerse myself in that business. I will research a lot about the business and about the feel of it, the tone of it, the corporate stance of it, so that the piece that you end up with is 100% truly reflective of your business. Not just something you're going to mash together and put out and it's going to be fine for 5 minutes. It's got to be a part of your culture. So that's where I believe I make a difference. And coming from a corporate background, I really understand the importance of that, and getting the look and the feel and the tone and the message completely right. Somebody who works with me, they'll be working with me on the entire project from start to finish. You won't get farmed out to somebody down the line or have to wait for other people to get involved for sign off. You get to deal with the one person, which I think is nicer from a client perspective, because you know that the same person is always going to pick up the phone, that you're going to have the conversation, and that person is going to know the process completely.
Yeah, and this is the collaboration part of it. I totally agree with you. I think we are more and more phasing out the competition attitude between businesses. This is all mine. I shall not give it to you. I shall trash you. You know, I will try to stumble you, put effort actually into that rather than focusing on what I do, and going more into collaboration, working together, locking arms together, and shifting forward together rather than
I mean,
the old
I've
style.
referred business owners to my competitors more than once, certainly more than once. There are some things that I don't do. There are some things that I don't have the capacity to do right now. And my service extends to my clients to the point that if they need something now and quickly and I can't do it, and I know somebody good who can, then I will refer them on. So even if they end up being a long-term client of my competition, at least they'll go away thinking, she got me where I needed to be. Absolutely. And you know, I'm a big believer in you know, helping each other out. And I'm friendly with people in other production companies, and you know, if I need a cameraman or I need a sound man, you know, I do actually have people that I can reach out to. Yes, there might be a rival company, but they're happy to come under my umbrella for a day or so to help me with my production. And if I've got people that I know, if they need someone, then again, I'd recommend people on, and it keeps the wheels turning. I really don't believe at all in digging your heels in and saying, no, I can't help you, or being so precious of your clients. You know, people have got free will. You know, if you serve your clients well and in the right way, they'll come back and they'll refer you. If you don't and you lose them, well, it's kind of on you, really. No two ways about it. I can't sugar the pill, you know. And some clients are going to work with you for a while, and then they're going to move on because their needs might change. You might not be able to service their needs anymore. They might have grown, they might have shrunk as a business. You know, we're all kind of doing this, especially these days. So if you can help somebody out, a client, a potential client, or even somebody who's in your space, it doesn't reflect badly on you. There is no point in me not referring somebody on to somebody in my space if there's something I can't personally help that person with. It makes no sense whatsoever, because it just makes me, I would feel very churlish at the end of the day. It would be, what would be the point? You know, if I know someone who can help fill that need, I'm going to put them on, and I do frequently. So I think when you're in business, you have to look at if you're in business, certainly for the long game, you know, you need to be looking at your long-term relationships and the people that will look back and say, oh yes, I had this really good relationship with whoever productions because Melanie put me onto them. You know, it was a shame she couldn't work with me at the time. But again, your paths might cross, because I might have a collaboration with that production company further down the line, and we both might work to serve that client.
So are you still looking for that tribe of people to?
When I say tribe, it's so I have a few close friends. I would like some more business friends that I could go out with and maybe socialize a little bit more, that get me, because I'm very high energy, as I say. I'm not particularly woke. That's very unfashionable these days, but a lot of the woke really gets on my nerves.
What is woke?
It's a new movement, especially along the young, and as far as I understand it, is about awakening yourself to the things that are, you know, they're very politically correct, take offense at the slightest little thing. You can't say that, you can't have a French you know, you can't have an English actor playing a French man because he's not French. You can't have that. He'll never work in the industry again. Okay, Jodie Comer has been targeted as an actress. It's appalling. I mean, I'm talking about the extreme levels here.
Yeah, so it sounds like extreme.
It's almost like extreme prejudice on
kind of. I'm trying to find stigmatization, which is like but it's anything, you know, political and black and white.
You know, black and white, and the whole. Don't even get me started on that. You know, I see individuals as individuals. I'm a great lover of humanity. You know, if I was putting on a production and I had a part for a particular character that I wanted, the best person for that role would get the job. If I'm recruiting in my back office space, I'm going to recruit the best person for the job, that not only has the technical ability to deliver what I want, but somebody that gets on with me and my team, because that is just as important.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hire somebody on any other criteria.
Absolutely.
You know, and for some people, that doesn't go down well, because I've been told in the past, oh, you can't say things like that. Well, I'm sorry, I can. If you don't like it, I'm terribly sorry about that. But I am a humanitarian first and foremost, and I see the joy in people. And when I look at people, I see the person. You know, and you're either somebody that gets me and we will get on, or we won't.
I think it is very important, but of course you've been in corporate world, and you know that it wasn't possible and it is still, I don't think it is still possible in the corporate world to be that honest. They will just not accept it.
There's a lot wrong there's a lot wrong in corporate life. You know, I mean, there are certain issues that I do agree with. You know, a man and a woman, if they're doing the same job role, should be paid the same money.
Yeah.
That's not woke, that's just a fact. You know, a woman and a man, if they're doing exactly the same job role with the same title, with the same responsibility, should be on the same money, full stop. Well, that has to change.
20 years and not 20 odd years ago, when I came, we came in the UK, I was shocked because I came from a ex-socialist country where equality was equality. That's it. Of course, emotions and all these, they differ and one care about the other, but pay, education, work standards, it's equality. And when I came here and I learned, first of all, they didn't want to tell you what their salary is, so you don't compare. Whereas in the world that I came from, people talk about their salaries, they compare, they know, and there is no secrecy. Whereas here, apparently, it was illegal to ask the question, a colleague of yours, how much do you get paid?
Yeah.
And then I came across a document I wasn't supposed to see, but it was just there, and I saw it, and I could not erase it. I could not unsee it. And then I saw the difference, huge, and I asked the question, why? So suddenly I became the thorn.
So this is it. So there are some things that absolutely need to change. And this is, I was having a debate with somebody the other day about these issues, and I said, just because I'm anti-woke doesn't mean to say that I don't care about things that aren't right. And there is a lot of things that aren't right, but again, I wouldn't hire a woman to do a man's job that she couldn't do because she was a woman. Just because,
yeah.
And I think that's where the extreme woke brigade get it wrong, because they're so far at the end of the scale. It's like, don't tell me I have to hire someone because they're this, they're that, or the other, just so that, oh, I'm supposed to feel good that I tick a diversity box. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to hire the best person for the job on a fair salary, no matter who it is. The salary is this, and whoever gets the job is going to be paid this, because that's what I can afford, and that's what the job is, you know. So that's how I kind of see the world. And some people see it my way and some people really don't. But I find that sometimes, you'll probably cut all of this out, but I find that sometimes airing these views are not popular. Because it's a truth that people don't want to hear.
Hold on a second. I'm not going to cut this out. I told you in the beginning, just be honest, blow it. You know, completely.
I'm blowing up.
Blow it. Yeah, blow it. But the thing is that this is you. These are your values. And this is your uniqueness. This is your authenticity. And that is what makes you what you are. And that what helps you stand firm on the ground, because you're connected with those values. Otherwise, you will be copying others. Otherwise, you will be submitting to some other people's views and values, and you will never be happy. And you've lived through that, and that's the reason why you are where you are right now, because you have made the conscious decision to follow the conscientiousness in business making.
Yeah. I follow a very, very strong line of ethics and fairness. Fairness is very, very big with me, and I'm not frightened to say it. And I have got myself into trouble for saying it before. I got thrown out of a Facebook group. I got thrown out of a Facebook group for saying that for me, this is my truth, that I see everybody equally. I see the person first, and what comes after that is secondary. So when I see somebody, I don't see the color of their skin. That's not the first thing that touches me, that I really see.
Yeah, it is the energy.
I'm a person. I speak to people. As we're going along the conversation, that's when I decide, yes, I really want to see more of you, or actually, no, I really don't. And again, that decision's got nothing to do with the person's color of their skin, their sexual orientation, their religion, creed, whatever. It's just the fact I either bond with you as a person, a human being, or I don't, because we can't all get on with everybody.
No.
And some people like me and you know, get on with me. My team, I'm very fortunate to have a good team, and the team that I made the film with were just tremendous. And some people don't like me, and that's fine, because they have their own circle of people. But it doesn't mean to say that I'm a horrible, awful person because you don't particularly vibe with me.
Melanie, you're not a horrible person, and I love your
and somebody
vibe.
I don't vibe with is not necessarily, you know, not a horrible person. It's just somebody I don't vibe with.
Yeah, you just don't click. You just don't click,
Yeah,
and
you're just not my
that's
kind
why.
of person.
Yeah, that's what neuroscience actually explains about the vibrations, even of the heart, the consciousness. The subconscious mind of the heart is different from that of the mind, and they are two separate. And you first react on the heart vibrations, the energy, and then on the mind, and then on the conscious mind. Yeah. Right. Would you like to tell me more about tell me now. Don't be shy. You're not shy, sorry. Tell me more about your multi-award winning filmmaking. I want you to tell me, tell me the first one, the second, the third, the fourth, and then the global millionaire.
Yeah, you wait. Hollywood awaits. No. This film was made with a group of volunteers in lockdown. The final lockdown,
Which
I think
film?
it was lockdown
Which
3 that we were in at the beginning of this year. And the filming industry, everything, you know, shut down completely in the first lockdown. Like the whole world globally just ground to a complete halt. And then we were kind of like, oh, we're going to have the restrictions. Then it's, oh no, we're going to be locked down again. Then we're going to have some more. And it was just like this backwards and forwarding. And then the final one, when the weather was so awful, and, you know, the first lockdown was a bit of a novelty, and it was summer and you could go out for walks and it was great. But when it's cold and raining and you're stuck indoors and having to homeschool and everything else like that, I thought, oh, I've got to do something to get out. And the filming industry and advertising industry was allowed to continue in the second and third lockdowns as long as you were proved to be COVID safe.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. So I have all the huge documentation and guidelines of what that means. And I put a call out to a group of friends that I knew from my radio presenting days and said, look, who I've had this idea, who wants to make a film with me? Because if we make a film, then we're allowed to see each other face to face. And if we make a film, you're part of my crew. And if we make a film, we don't have to wear masks when we're doing our scenes. Obviously our back crew had to wear masks, and we did throughout, but obviously the actors, when you're making filming a scene indoors, they didn't have to have the masks on. So I said, if anybody wants to get out and experience this, let me know. So yeah, I think that was too big a carrot for people to refuse, really. So I got a lot of people say, yes, I'm in. And so we decided that we would make a comedy, because I wanted to laugh. There'd been so much doom and gloom. I said, I need to laugh because I just feel so awful. So we decided we're going to make a comedy. So we got a little group together that we met on Zoom, and we had kicked a few ideas around of what we were going to make a film about. And then one lady mentioned a new town centre initiative in High Wycombe that's been rolled out in High Wycombe and Amersham. And she said, oh, the stories I could tell. I said, actually, I think we could do something with that. I really think we could do something with that. And then I had three people volunteer to be my script writers, one of whom is a BAFTA award-winning screenwriter, script writer, and used to work on the show QI. And he's a fantastic guy, and I'm going to give him a plug, shameless plug. His name's Stephen Colgan, and he's just written a hugely funny book called Corrings, spelt Cockerings, but it's pronounced Corrings, and that's a whole other story, available from all good bookshops. But he was our main chief script writer, another author friend of mine, and a producer friend of mine. They kind of said, right, you're doing the script, come back to me when it's done. So they did, and we tweaked it a little bit, and then we said, right, okay, let's get some more people involved at this point, because we need some people to act it out, fill it out. So I put a call out on social media to in local Facebook groups and to local amateur dramatics societies, saying that this is what I'm looking for. Does anybody know of anybody? And this is where kind of the woke thing comes in again. You know, for one of my central characters, I was looking for an Afro-Caribbean lady to play them, and I had a very specific character type in mind. And I put a call out on social media in the local area, and I got absolutely lambasted by some person that was on there, and it wasn't a black person, I have to say. It was a white person, absolutely outraged and trashed me all over social media. So I took the post down, and I even got contacted by another company saying, why are we mentioned in this post looking for this character? And I said, well, I have no idea, because I haven't mentioned any companies. I'm just looking for a particular character. As if somebody has tagged you in on this post, then you'll have to sort it out with them. I said, but the flack that I'm getting, I've subsequently taken the post down, and so we in the end we went with a different character, which still worked, but it would have worked so much better if I'd have had the character that I had in mind. And because of this outpouring of aggression, to me, what that's done is that has stopped an Afro-Caribbean person being involved in an award-winning film. They could have had a very good opportunity. They could have had other opportunities spring off the back of that. That has now been, the door's been firmly closed because of these outraged white people who say, oh, you can't say you want a particular character of that particular colour.
Can this be an idea for a second film? Exactly that topic, smiling, laughing, and in humor.
Yeah,
I think now, 6 months later or a year later, actually it is more permissible in a way, because people's ways of thinking and hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, because it's just a shame that I didn't get the character, and this is what I'm trying to differentiate. It was a character. It was a very stereotypical character that I wanted, because it's a comedy film, you know. And when casting agents put calls out for particular type characters, they're looking for specific characters for a specific reason, to play a specific role. You know, it's not real. You know, when you watch comedy on the television with certain characters and you recognize the characters, you know, I know one of those, but obviously it's made so much more of on the TV because it's a comedy script, and you're bigging up that particular thing. So yeah, from my point of view, it was sad, because I think it could have been so much better if we'd have had the right character. But you know, we didn't do too badly. As I say, we've won a couple of awards.
You have won
international film festivals, so people are liking the film. But we took four and a half days to shoot it. It was all done incredibly quickly, and then it was 3 months in post-production. So, you know, and that's for a 10-minute film, to give you an idea. So, you know, I am not at all surprised why feature films take years and years and years sometimes to make. It was a lot of hard work. I mean, I would definitely do it again, especially the response that we've had. And because it was local, we used, say, local authors to do our script and screenwriting, and we used local cameramen and local actors and actresses. So we're premiering the film at our local art centre, Wickham Arts Centre, on the 26th of November. And all the ticket sales will go to Wickham Arts Centre. so that they can continue their good work to support local artists and local art projects. So it's been a bit of a community project. It was a feel-good project from start to finish, and we wanted to give ourselves a lift. I'm going to be completely honest about it, but we wanted to give the town a bit of a lift as well. And we had some major businesses get involved. Zip e-scooters, I want to say a huge thank you to them. Buckinghamshire Council, huge thank you to them, because without these guys it wouldn't have happened. We used a venue called the Sosh Club in High Wycombe, and it is absolutely amazing. You have to just look it up on the internet, the Sosh Club. Words cannot do it justice. But if you're local, you've got to get down there. It's just amazing. So there's so many people and businesses that came together to help make this happen. And if we can make a nice bit of money for the charity in November, I'll be really, really happy, because it just closes it off really, really nicely. It's a nice community project.
Can you tell me where people can find the tickets for the premiere?
If you're looking for tickets to go and just have something to lighten your day, we're going to make a bit of an event of it as well. So you'll get a glass of Prosecco on arrival, and get a chance to sort of see and meet the actors and actresses and talk to us as well. So it's going to be a bit of a networky kind of event as well, where you can chat with people. And again, you never know who you're going to meet. So worth coming along. You can go onto the Wycombe Arts Centre website, which is www.wycombeartscentre.com/scooch, which is SCOOTCH.
Okay, wycombeartscentre.com.
Yeah, /scooch.
Scooch.
And then you can book your tickets there. Their early bird tickets are available at the moment until the 31st of October. And then there's going to be a slight pay rise.
Pay rise. Okay.
So book now, book before the 31st of October to get your early bird ticket. But all the ticket sales are going to the Wycombe Arts Centre.
Okay.
Anyway.
Actually, I've got friends in Maidenhead, so I'm going to tell them exactly where to book and go and have fun.
We want to sell out. We want to sell out because. I'm not an egotist. As people have asked me, I was on a radio program a couple of days ago, and he asked me, what will I be listening to what people are saying while they're watching the film? And I said, no, I'll probably be hiding in the toilets.
Oh gosh.
Biting my fingernails down to the quick, because if everyone hates it, I'll be really upset. But I don't think they will. But it's always it's going to be nerve-wracking. We're having a room full of people sort of sitting in judgment of what you've done. So
everything is going to be okay, and that's amazing. That's amazing, Melanie. That's a great achievement. I mean, I have no words. But how would you describe one thing that sets you apart from all the rest? One thing.
Again, this is going to sound egotistical after me. No,
please.
The one thing that sets me apart is me. I'm a very unique individual, and as I said a little bit earlier on, you either get me or you don't. And at the age I am now, I'm past apologising to the people that don't.
I know that age. I love it.
It used to, when you're younger, you're desperate to please everyone. And if someone doesn't really, say vibe with you, you get ever so upset. And I think, now it's not so much, I know my core values and my beliefs. And, part of that for me is giving absolutely exceptional customer service. The brands that I've been involved with, Virgin, Disney, Hitachi years ago, all big brands who are renowned for giving very, very high levels of customer service. I mean, the Walt Disney Company, if you've been to Disney World in Florida, or if you go into one of the Disney stores, you cannot beat them on customer service. Absolutely exceptional. So those are the things that I pride myself on. I get very immersed with my clients, and I'll give them the moon. I get very passionate about that, probably as passionate about their businesses as they are themselves, and I love immersing myself in the project. There may be others that do that, but for me, you get the whole package with me. Nobody is going to do things quite the way that I do them. And we've kept it very clean on air, but I am somebody who does swear sometimes, especially if I'm frustrated, and somebody needs to be able to deal with that as well. I'm a very energetic, fiery character, and I do swear occasionally, depending on what's going on. So again, some people really don't like that, and again, that's absolutely fine. But some people are cool with it, and they get me. And that's they're cool with that. So the thing that makes me uniquely me is me.
Do you know what? I was actually looking for a different answer. I was looking for a quality, one quality or one thing. But actually, the way you explained it, everything, you said it yourself, me, the package, that's me.
Yeah,
and I like it. I like it because we are trying to identify in ourselves one quality or two qualities or something, but very few people actually say it is me. That's it. That's it. With the swearing, with the high energy, with the abruptness, with the values that I've got, that's me.
Yeah, and I'm very honest as well. And again, we can also say, what are the values that you hold dear? And you can sit and say, oh well, I'm full of integrity, and I'm very honest, or I'm very this, and it just sounds so bland. I don't think you can put people in a hold people on this value or that value. When I'm training people, I can be quite straight talking, and that just saves everybody a lot of time.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I'm not going to sugar the pill, and there are some people who respond very, very well to people who are very let's just say sort of warm and nurturing. Not that I'm not warm and nurturing, but people who have a much gentler way, and it might take them 3 months to get to the actual core of what it is they're trying to do, because it's gently draw the person out, and that's absolutely fine. But in my industry, when you're creating pieces, if you're creating pieces for television or working in news or whatever, and things have to be done really, really quickly, if somebody wants a certain result, a lot of people come to me, or they're wanting video because, I know that video is going to work really, really fast, and I need to turn my customers, my potential customers into paying customers quickly, and I need to get this off the ground. Then you need to get from A to B quite quickly, and you can't faff around trying to find that's why I do like when clients come to me that they've worked with a marketing person before, so that when they come to me, they are fully switched on with their brand message. They know exactly what the purpose of their video campaign, and I say that, stress that their campaign is going to be, because just putting out one video isn't going to cut it.
No, it is a strategy. It is a strategy with follow-up tactics, so that you can utilize this and maximize the effect.
Exactly. It's a process. So you have to know exactly what's in, and that's where you need to have a budget for it. So I always say, when I'm talking about video marketing and visual marketing, I always say it has to fit in with your existing marketing strategy and your plan, because it is a part of that. Yes, I can help people with the overall of it, but that's not where I like to be. I like people to know exactly, so that I bring it to life through the visuals. And that's where the wow happens.
And this is exactly people with people with your skills and your expertise actually come into when I work with a business, and I line up the strategic planning ahead for the year, or for the different profit drivers, I call them, in the business. And when we create the tactics, the clients, they know what they need, how they will achieve it, and then people like you come, they know exactly. You don't waste time, you know exactly what you need to achieve, you're familiar with the plan, and you deliver your expertise within that slotted in. I love it. And this is about collaboration. Again, this is about collaboration, working with other people, because I can't do everything myself. So I invite life coaches sometimes, because I don't want to dabble into, even if I have the NLP and life coaching and business coaching qualifications, on top of everything, I don't waste time to dabble there. So I pass it on. One question about business, because we are quite advancing with the time, and I know you're busy, and I'm grateful for sparing your time with me. What do you wish to see in business creation and interactions, let's say 10 years from now? What is your idealistic vision?
My idealistic vision for businesses in the future would be that they've all dumped the BS. I won't say the whole word.
Okay, fine. I know it. I'm quite
all
perceptive.
The BS, and they're all operating at a much more humanitarian level, so that the discussions that are being had and the employees that are being employed feel that they are being treated fairly, regardless of, as I say, ethnicity, sexual orientation, sex, whether they're male or female, transgender, or however they identify. I would like the workspace, especially the bigger corporate workspace, to recognize that the old boy network doesn't necessarily mean it's the best way of doing things, and that there is some incredible talent out there that's being overlooked for all the wrong reasons. I would like business to open up a much better dialogue with their employees. I've seen it so often where, especially in big corporates, where they have lost huge amount of talent walking out the door, that if they had just seen it and invested in it the right way, oh my goodness, could have taken their company to whole new heights.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I feel that I'm one of them.
Same here.
I walked away and I have grown from strength to strength, and I've seen a lot of people who have walked away and become successful entrepreneurs, and you're thinking, gosh, if you'd have stayed in that business, where would they be now? I think senior management need to stop looking at things in an old-fashioned, archaic kind of a way, and get real about a lot of things, and actually get to know their employees. Who is actually working for you? What actual talents do they have behind the CV that they've maybe used to get the job? What other talents can you draw on that could actually catapult your business to the stratosphere that's not even on your radar yet?
Yeah, I totally agree. That's lovely. That's lovely.
That's what I would like to change. I'd like to put a bomb under, not a real one, but just kicking the seat of the pants of some of these old fuddy-duddy board directors and say, look, come on, who have you got here? How do you, if I walked into a boardroom of a top company today and I said, do you really know who you've got in the building? They wouldn't have a clue.
No.
They probably wouldn't even have a clue that far outside of their direct managers who are sitting right around the board table.
I totally agree, and I love that. That's exactly what this show is about, to empower the conscious business evolution so that we can transcend into the better era of business interaction. And finally, what would be your 3 wisdoms you'd like to pass on to the people who would be watching this, probably, hopefully?
Oh my God.
Okay, it can be just one. It can be one. If you can't find 3.
It might cover a few things, but I think going back to when you asked me what is different about dealing with me, and I said with me, I think this is the single most important piece of advice that I could give, is that it's okay to be you, and it's okay to have your voice and use it. There's a terrific lady called Leslie M, who's the author of a book called Swagger, which teaches you how to be your authentic self. And I mean, it's not advocating just spouting off willy-nilly. You know, swagger is knowing when to speak, when and how to speak your truth, you know, despite all the rubbish that's going to come for you if you know, that stops you from speaking your truth. But she's done some fantastic case studies in her book where going into comments, she's trained Google, Disney, you know, top companies, and getting people to just peel off the layers, peel off the persona. You know, people have personas when they go to work a lot of the time. You know, you're one person in the office, you're one person at home, you're one person on Facebook, one person on LinkedIn. You know, that's rubbish. You know, you are the one person. So it's trying to recognize that within yourself and be okay with that with yourself, and realize you don't have to be a persona when you go into the office. And the people that have dropped that and embraced who they are the ones that have really succeeded, even when they've been really scared about making themselves feel vulnerable. Yeah, when that's come out, and when their managers have seen them as human beings, things have changed for them radically, which goes back to my point that I want top management to see people as human beings. You know, don't have a company where all of your employees are just fake people giving out this persona because that's what they think you want, because you're missing so much talent there. You know, people who don't say anything in meetings because they're too scared to, because they're following a party line, you know, that because they're of a certain level in the company, they can't offer an opinion, they can't put an idea forward, or they're made to feel awkward. You know, it's not about that. So everyone should go and buy the book Swagger by Leslie M, and read it and absorb it, and realize that it's okay to be yourself and speak your truth. You know, as long as you're motivating, you know, your motivations for the right reasons. I mean, she is like me, she swears, and she's an advocate of swearing. And she said, you know, if you are a swearer, there are studies that prove you are actually highly intelligent, and people see you as more real, more human. She said, but so if you swear, it's fine. If you're swearing at somebody, that's not okay. And there is a difference. Yes. If you're going to come out and say something that's going to be deliberately hurtful to just be deliberately hurtful to somebody else, that's not cool. That's you know, not. To belittle somebody else, that's not cool at all. But you shouldn't have a persona. You shouldn't be one person in the office and one person at home. And that's the same for the small business owner, because, and I think this could be part of the reason why a lot of small businesses fail, is because people are trying to be something that they're not, and you can't sustain that over a huge amount of time. Absolutely. Don't put out this front to the world of what you think they should be looking at when they look at you. Be who you are and be proud of who you are. Some people will really dig you, some people won't. It doesn't matter. Doesn't mean they're bad, doesn't mean you're bad. It's just different strokes for different folks. So I think that's my and I struggle a little bit now with the word authenticity, because it's just so overused. But you do need to find that inner authenticity. What is it about you that makes you you? What you know, because you need to be unapologetically you. There's only one of you. If you walked under a bus tomorrow, that there would be no more you, and the world has lost out. You know, so encouraging that in the workplace, I think, would pay dividends. And the companies that are forward thinking, who do encourage their employees to be individuals as well as part of the whole, they're the ones that are flourishing. Melanie, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And this is exactly what totally matches with my values. And these are something I'm very passionate about. Yes, passionate. Me too. Me too. Right. Melanie, that was fantastic. How did you feel? Good. good. I did feel a bit like I was on my soapbox for, for a bit of it. So if there are people out there that haven't liked what I've said, I do apologise, but I don't really, because I'm just being me. But yeah, I found it very, very good, and it's nice. It's nice to have a genuine conversation with somebody.
It was total pleasure. Right, officially now, Melanie Perry. Melanie, thank you so much for this wonderful conversation and for your wisdom sharing with me and with everyone else. So thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you for being here today at the Empowering the Conscious Business Evolution show with me. It was pleasure and honor.
Oh, that's lovely. It was lovely to be here. Thank you so much. If people do want to get in touch with me, if they liked what they've heard, then you can always drop me an email at melanie@poppyperrymedia.com.
And we shall put this at the bottom of the post. Thank you. Okay. Bye, everyone. And that was your inspiration to continue empowering your conscious business evolution today. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope our conversations will help you take your own steps toward innovating and evolving as a conscious business by making choices for the benefit of people, communities, and environment. If you have any questions to my guests, I will leave their contact details in the description of this post. If you'd like to come to the show and share your wisdom, you're more than welcome. Please write to me to Antonina at Visionsinspire.com. But definitely have a listen to all previous interviews and do subscribe to the Visions Nspire YouTube channel for my next show for more inspiration on being part of our conscious business evolution together. Please give Visions Nspire your like on Facebook and follow on Twitter and Instagram. And do share with others to listen, spread the word, grow the knowledge. That's the spirit of the conscious business evolution. Till next time, from me, Antonina, your business growth strategist, turning visions into profitable businesses, and always here to empower the conscious business evolution. Thank you, and till next time.